Now on Fox 17 Midday, Grand Rapids police investigating 3 shootings that took place in just 3 hours. What we know so far.
And rain showers are moving through West Michigan for this morning, detailing how long they'll last coming up.
And we're less than 24 hours away from the beginning of tulip time. We'll hear from businesses in the area to find out how they are preparing for the big festival.
From the station with the most local news in our West Michigan, Fox 17 Midday starts right now.
Thanks for joining us for Fox 17 Midday. I'm Rob Westerby, along with meteorologist Haley Vaughn, who knows the answer to the question, when's the rain going to end? When's the rain going to end?
Finally, it's going to come to a close for tonight. So we're only going to see a few light rain showers for today, mainly along and towards the south of I-96. And today is the last day that we are going to see rain for the entire Super 7-day outlook. The rest of our outlook is going to be sunny. It's going to be warm. It'll be a really nice stretch of weather. But currently, we do have the rain that's falling. So as you're stepping outside for today, don't forget a rain jacket. It's going to last throughout the majority of our daytime hours, coming to a close later on this evening and tonight. You can see the light rain showers falling over Grand Rapids, especially in Saugatuck now, with mostly cloudy skies over Ravenna. A lot of our satellite and radar shows the rain that's lining up along and towards the south of I-96. And as we take a closer look, you can see the light persistent rain showers over Grand Rapids, Holland, and Kalamazoo. A closer look with our live radar network shows a few light sprinkles over Pawpaw, Portage, Kalamazoo, and Marshall. A little bit drier in Sturgis and Dowagiac, but up towards Grand Rapids, the rain is actually very persistent, but ending right over downtown Grand Rapids. Drier skies in Greenville, Rockford, and Muskegon. Our temperatures right now, they're in the upper 40s to lower 50s, but take a look at the difference between Grand Rapids and Big Rapids. It's all because of the rain that's moving through. Big Rapids right now at 57 degrees, Fremont at 59, but only 49 in Grand Rapids and 51 degrees in Kalamazoo. Winds are breezy from the east-northeast between 10 to about 15 miles per hour. And as for the rest of our day, we will see the temperatures increase later on this evening, but the rain is going to be likely. We'll detail more about that coming up.
Well, tulips will be the focus around Holland over the coming week. And this year, the Tulip Time Festival comes back with a full schedule, and they expect to be as busy as ever. As our Elia Grandia learned, the flowers aren't the only beautiful things. They help the city's downtown flourish.
While it's blooming season for these beautiful buds,
basically what that does is adds hot water to the correct grain. It makes a sweet water.
barley is going to good use in this brewery, as Big Lake Brewing beer makers, like many Holland businesses, now are preparing for a flood of customers.
It's one of our busiest weeks of the year.
Tulip Time Festival kicks off in just a day, and this year's event is expected to be bigger than ever, a far cry from the last few years.
In the early days of the pandemic, we had to ask people not to come. And even though tulips were still blooming, it just wasn't safe to have a lot of visitors here.
This year, it's no holds back with parades, Dutch dancers, tours, and so much more. 500,000 people expected to visit the lakeshore for this year's Tulip Time, and with all the crowds coming to see these colorful flowers, also comes a lot of green.
$41 million comes back into our local economy as a direct impact from Tulip Time.
From 2 weeks.
From 2 weeks.
In that business,
we got a big line out the door.
Is welcome to news for downtown Holland businesses like Peach Wave, who rely heavily on revenue made during the festival.
So annually, Tulip Time is going to hit somewhere around 7% of our sales over just an 8-day period. So for us, we're looking at a 400% increase in traffic.
That flood of customers over 8 days allows owner Boyd Feltman to give the frozen yogurt spot a bit of a facelift that lasts year round.
Furniture, improvements, painting, thinking about inventory ramp up, maintenance and repairs of the place in general.
And like Peach Wave, Big Lake Brewing also relies on Tulip Time for a boost in sales.
We almost double our sales from what we're doing in the first 3 months of the year.
Another addition that likely will have an economic impact in downtown business during Tulip Time, this year's social district.
Because it allows someone to get a drink here at Big Lake, walk around on the sidewalks downtown and go to Waverly Stone and get a different drink, or put their name in on the wait list.
And while millions of flowers are about to be on display, the City of Holland hopes visitors will enjoy all the area has to offer.
That was Fox 17's Elia Grandia reporting. Our Tulip Time coverage just beginning. Our crews will be out there bringing you all things tulip. So look for their live reports starting later this afternoon, 4 o'clock. You can also keep up with all the big events happening this weekend on the air, online, and on our mobile app. We are working to learn more about what the Kent County Sheriff's Office is describing as an industrial accident. This was the scene at Thornapple Excavating in Grand Rapids around 6 this morning. The Sheriff's Office says crews had to rescue a man who had been pinned under some kind of equipment. Paramedics took him to the hospital but did not sharing anything about his injuries. We hope to keep you updated as we learn more. Grand Rapids Police investigating what led up to 3 shootings that happened last night in Grand Rapids. The first one happened around 5:30 on Buchanan Avenue. Officers found a woman in a driveway with several gunshot wounds to her legs. Witnesses say suspects got out of a car and fired several rounds at the 41-year-old woman. She taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. No one hurt in the second shooting. This one happened just after 6 at the Wing Heaven restaurant on Eastern Avenue, Southeast. Witnesses told police 2 people got out of a car there and fired several rounds into the business, but nobody was hit. And the third shooting happened outside a home on Cass, Southeast, just before 8 p.m. Police say someone shot 2 men, and a dark SUV was seen speeding away from the area. Both victims, a 22-year-old man and a 27-year-old, expected to survive. No suspect information for any of these shootings, and police are working to determine if any of the incidents are related. A new law to protect children from abuse is officially on the books. Governor Whitmer signed Wyatt's Law, which establishes a statewide child abuse registry. People can now go through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to see basic information on previous convicted child abusers. Information such as name, city, and age. Erica Hamill and her son Wyatt have fought for years for this law. Wyatt suffered brain damage when he was only a year old at the hands of a woman who watched over him. He was shaken so badly he was left permanently blind in one eye and couldn't walk, talk, or eat. He had to undergo multiple surgeries. Hamill hopes this database that Child Protective Services can save a life, so no parent will lose out on special moments like
He always tells me he loves me. He tells me I'm his best friend, so it doesn't get much better than that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, this law, abuse will not be in vain, and it'll save the lives of so many. He doesn't understand it, but it's okay.
With the registry, the governor says they're also working to correct inaccurate reports of child abuse. For more information on Wyatt's Law, we have a story about it on our website, fox17online.com. The U.S. Supreme Court is bracing for some major protests in the days ahead, and some progressive groups plan to target the homes of some of the justices. All of this over the possibility that the court could overturn Roe v. Wade, the decision that legalized abortion in the U.S. Douglas Ader has the latest from Washington this midday.
This leaked draft opinion to overturn Roe has touched off a renewed debate over abortion, but it's also creating new security concerns for the court.
Thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your grace.
Protesters from both sides kept at a distance from the Supreme Court, which is now ringed by a massive security fence. But protests won't be confined to just the court. The group Ruth Sent Us, a nod to former Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, has circulated an online map of what it calls extremist justices, calling for protests at 6 of their homes, even offering stipends. Some lawmakers are calling for new protections for the justices.
Well, this is a place where they sleep. This is a place where, if they've got children in the home, where they're raising children. It's an implicit threat of physical violence.
The White House says these protests, even at the homes of justices, do not necessarily cross a line.
Peaceful protest? No, peaceful protest is not extreme.
Nor will the White House condemn the release of the draft Supreme Court decision. And Chief Justice John Roberts calls that leak absolutely appalling, and an investigation is underway. Some Democrats joined in the outrage.
Well, John, I completely condemn the leak, and whoever leaked it, should be prosecuted.
At the same time, others suggested the leak was a distraction.
But to compare a leak to taking away the rights of over 100 million women and saying the leak is more important Give me a break. Forget it.
Now, there is also a plan this weekend to target Catholic churches, what organizers are calling a Mother's Day strike. In Washington, I'm Doug Luzader for Fox 17 Midday.
A protest is expected here in West Michigan as well. In Kent County, a local organization has planned a protest in support of abortion rights. They say they'll meet today at 6 p.m. in front of the Kent County Courthouse. As the story continues to develop, we will keep you updated both on the air and online. Big news on the job front this midday. The latest jobs report is out, and it shows that employers exceeded job expectations in April. America's employers added 428,000 jobs in April, says the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The unemployment rate unchanged at 3.6%, one of the lowest rates in half a century. It's 11:11, still ahead on Fox 17 Midday. It's been more than 2 months since the invasion of Ukraine started, and now we are hearing more about the number of deaths from the war. We'll have those numbers.
And rain is in the forecast for today, but we do have sunny weather ahead. We'll detail more about that coming up.
And the CDC changing is the vaccine threshold on cruises. We'll tell you the percentage of passengers and crew members that now have to be vaccinated to meet CDC guidelines.